Hello, projector friend, and welcome to your reading for the week of November 18th, 2024. My name is Christy, and it is my pleasure to be here as more than just a pair of hands and a voice. As with all readings, take what serves you well and release the rest. One of the most delightful things about being human is that we have free will choice. So no matter what messages Spirit has for us this week, we always have the power to change them. Okay, so this week I feel very drawn to the moon. We are just passing through a full moon, and so I am drawn to the card. I will draw a card from the Moonology Messages Oracle, followed by a Moonology Oracle card, and then we will consult our friends with the tarot for strength, weakness, and advice this week. All right, so let's get going. What do we have? What guidance does the Moonology Messages have for projectors this week? All right. And it is Boundaries, Out of Bounds Moon. What a gorgeous card. Okay, so boundaries this week are going to be important, projector. And I love talking about boundaries. I am a therapist. And so, one of the things that's popped up for me this week is that the phrase, we teach other people how to treat us. Okay, so this is something that I say pretty frequently. And the more that I apply it to my own life, the better and stronger my relationships are, because they are more clear. And clarity is kind, all right? So this is interesting. I am also interested in the art in this deck tends to be a little bit lighter. And so for me, it's interesting that there are these more like darker, cooler colors here. So in terms of boundaries, we've got the green, right? So the green is heart chakra and the blue is our throat. Okay, so we need to look at what we're saying needs to come from the heart. I mean, we set boundaries with our head as well, but there's a lot of heart energy here. And then speaking your truth from the heart rather than what we think we're supposed to do or say. But creating healthy boundaries is always of mind. And it's not something that you just do once. It's something that we do every day on the regular. And we do it by what we allow, how we allow people to treat us, right? Anyways, we teach other people how to treat us. Okay. All right. Woo. Bang! I'm starting off with a banger. Okay. All right. And then we have the Moonology Oracle cards. And this is interesting because the art in this deck tends to be darker, right? So we'll see what we've got here. Okay. Projectors. Ooh. Okay. Step out of your comfort zone, North Node. All right, I like astrology, but I am by no means an expert. But I will say, I believe that the most important part of your astrological chart is your North Node. Okay, so because just like human design, it tells you where to go. It tells you who you are, right? It tells you who you are and who you're supposed to be, right? Astrology does. It's another way of understanding yourself, just like the Myers-Briggs or personality tests, astrology, human design, right? All of these things. But the North Node in astrology actually says you should move towards this direction. So my North Node is in Scorpio in the 6th house, which means that, and Scorpio is completely so your South Node is things that you have mastered, right? Your South Node is things that you have done in past lives. And I am a Taurus South Node. So I am used to being wealthy. I am used to being comfortable. I am used to being, kind of stubborn and maybe slow and don't really want to change. But Scorpio is the opposite of that, right? And then it's in the 6th house, which is our house of health and odd jobs and that kind of thing. So when I learned that I was Scorpio North Node in the 6th house, I was like, I'm supposed to do this channel, right? Like this isn't my full-time job at this time. And so it is something that I'm doing on the side, and it's in that spiritual realm, right? Scorpio is very spiritual, very like things that are below the surface, things that are intangible. And it basically gave me permission to start, developing into the esoteric space. So for you, step out of your comfort zone. So my challenge for you, projector, is to go and you can do, actually I'll link a chart where you can get your chart done. It's called astro.com, and you plug in your information. It's free. You will get a very complete reading of your birth chart, but look for your North Node, see what sign it's in, right? And your South. So they're polar opposites, right? So your North Node will be where you need to go. Well, that was exciting. My phone ran completely out of storage. So 128 gigs apparently isn't enough for Christy. So I had to delete a bunch of stuff. So we're back. Here we are. Okay, so projector, let's get back to it with our friends from the tarot. Okay, I believe I finished my spiel about the North Node, and let's move forward. But seriously, go check it out. I truly believe it's the one. It's your like North Star. It's your guidance, right, of what you're supposed to do to take those next steps in this incarnation on Earth. So let's leave our comfort zones and move towards that. Okay. We have strength, weakness, advice for projectors this week. Okay, so strength is, this was just at the bottom of the deck, and I saw it. I think I even showed it to you. And that is very interesting. The 9 of Swords as a strength. All right. Next, we have as a weakness, we have the 2 of Wands, and then the advice is the Death card. Ooh, we got some juicy stuff to dig into here. Okay, so let's first of all remind me in particular of the other cards, which are boundaries, okay? And stepping outside of your comfort zone and moving towards that North Node. Okay, a strength, like this is so interesting, right? Because most people hate this card. And so how can, anxiety and overthinking and, losing sleep at night, how can this be a strength? Well, let's just say you've mastered this and you're ready to move on and release it, okay? So part of this will have come from not setting solid boundaries. Remember I said that clarity is kind. So that is definitely confirming that this is something that you need to work on and strengthen. Now, everybody experiences this, right? But we want to make sure that we don't spend too much time in our denser emotions. So we want to be able to process things. A friend of mine who is quite, spiritually and psychologically developed, she said that to me the other day. She's like, Christy, she's like, I really admire how quickly you move through things. And it's very true. And a lot of that is because I decide what I want my vibration to be, and so do you. And so, for example, okay, so the United States has just had a very, they've just had an election, right? And regardless of your political views, there are some people that are very happy and there are some people that are very scared. And so this is kind of and so many of my friends are quite upset about, American friends are quite upset about the result of what's happening, and they're very worried about what will happen and whatnot. And they stayed here for a long time. And I did not. I mean, I'm Canadian, and we are, of course, affected, but I also don't really watch the news or anything like that, which is always, by the way, one of the secrets to a happy life is to not watch the news, because it's usually full of doom and gloom, and you can't control it. So we always want to take control of, we always want to focus on the things that we can control. Okay, I'm getting that very strongly here, is that a strength for you to move forward is to focus only on the things that you can control. control, and to also learn from these experiences, and also decide how much time you want to spend in grief, in anger, in worry, in anxiety, right? So decide how much time that you want to spend there. Create a boundary for it. Okay, create a boundary for it so that you can give yourself permission to move on. Okay, that may require, for some of you, anxiety and worry is your comfort zone. Okay, so we want to move away from that, right? Getting that very strongly. Now, in terms of weakness, okay, so we have the Two of Wands. So twos are often about choices that we have to make. And I always think of this, like, so we've got this very, like, you know, wealthy, well-established person perched on top of a roof, and they've got the world in their hands. Now, this is great. It's great to have the world in your hands, but this is also indecision. All right, so there's kind of like, I have this little thing called pre-contemplation mode. And it's when you are like thinking about doing something, right? You're like not committed to, like, it's kind of like this is like planting seeds. And so the action and the passion here is kind of stalled, right? So procrastination. Okay, so this is a card of procrastination. So a weakness that you may encounter this week, projector, is some procrastination. And so we want to avoid that by setting a boundary, all right? And then as advice, we have the delicious Death card. All right, so this is the most important card for you this week in this deck, of course, because it's a major arcana card. And Death is such a gorgeous but inevitable transformation. All right, so there is some transformation happening for you this incredible growth. It will probably be uncomfortable. Okay, this is not a comfortable card. Okay, it's going to be uncomfortable, but there's so much to learn from it. There's so much opportunity here for you to do this. Now, the way you're going to do it, surprise, is to step outside and really honestly, like, just go. I mean, I can't say this now. Go find out where your North Node is if you don't know it. Like, it's life-changing. Like, of all the astrology, it was the most life-changing for me. And I mean, human design is the most life-changing thing for me. But when it comes to astrology, North Node. Okay, so search that North Node, find out what step can you take this week to transform, and to whether it's body, mind, or spirit, or all three, or two, it doesn't matter. But like, look within and be like, what do I want to change, right? Like, and also, like, don't procrastinate about it. Let's take a positive step forward towards that North Node this week so that you can start expressing yourself in alignment with your universal design. Okay, woo, alrighty. I hope you got something good from this week, and thank you for staying with me through my little technical difficulties. I no longer have any more downloaded playlists on Spotify. That's okay. All right, have a great week, projector. Mwah.